We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, we're in the house. We got Tom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah.
Let's go. What was that? What did I say? I said, let's go. This is 2023, and the New York Jets are not messing around. I will say it again. We're not messing around. This is it, baby. This is it. No, I don't care about the Miami Dolphins fans. Every single year I have to hear about how Miami's going to be a contender. And every single year they stink. Every single year. And New England is done. No more Brady, Belichick, old man, no talent, a joke of an organization. And guess what? The only foe left, the only team left we have to beat out for the division is a team with a quarterback that calls us Papa. That's right, Josh Allen. We you Papa. So guess what, everybody? This is the year. This is our year. We're going to do it. We have a great show tonight. Let me say hello to some people, and we'll introduce my co-host and some guests. We got David Gerard in the house. What's going on? Good old Harlan Abraham. He's been around since the days of Joe Namath. We got The Mess. And yeah, I already had my snacks. We got Klecko. And Klecko, guess what? I'm getting a new puppy on Tuesday, and his name is going to be Klecko. So I will be sharing more details about that. We got K Yeti. Good to see you, K Yeti. Twisted in the house. What's going on? Good to see you, buddy. And let's see. Oh, do we got Bradigan? Oh, Bradigan is here. Chris Bradigan, all the way from Chicago. Ready to rock and roll tonight. And I think we got our boy, Tony Alexio, the biggest Chris Streveler fan in the world. That's right. He's the biggest Chris Streveler fan in the world. Hank G's in the house. I don't know if I said hello to him now. We got Knobcraft. Knobcraft, I miss you in North Carolina, but guess what? I'm going to be back in a few weeks, so we'll connect then. And I got to tell you about some amazing food that I had there while I was down there. It was amazing stuff that you got to check out. But with no further ado, my co-host is rotting away in the back, and he's probably doing a lot of this. No, it's not Italy, Jet. I have a lot of Italian friends. This is, I told him before, he's such a fighter. I told him, I go, you're a greasy tank, a greasy Italian tank. I'm telling you, he's slipping, he's sliding, he's everywhere. He's the man, and we're going to introduce him right now. But you know that we got to get a little funky when we do this kind of thing. So let's get it going here. Come on, it's spinning. Ladies and gentlemen, this man, and I mean man, you might think he comes off like a kid. He's no kid. This is a parent. He's an adult. But you know what makes him a man? He lives behind enemy lines. He lives in Boston. He's not afraid to wear that jersey. If somebody comes up to him and messes with him, he's not afraid to get in their face. Because he is the greasy, measy moving, the pizza eating, the sausage and pepper making, the Jet Lounge rooting, the behind enemy lines fighting. Please welcome the greatest co-host in the world! VInny C.
Let's do this.
How we doing today?
We are doing awesome, and the intros are just getting better and better every week. So thank you for that, Jeremy. That was awesome. Again, hats off.
You know, I have people that never wanted to come onto the show, but they said, if you give me an intro, if you give me one of your big intros, I'll come on the show. So now we got a whole list of people coming up in the next few weeks. I'm going to have to come up with new intros. And I didn't know this dude. We never spoke in person that we're going to have on today. And I spoke to him in person today. And just from one conversation, I think I got material. I think I could do an intro on this guy.
Let's do it.
Okay. Are you ready, everybody? Is everybody out there ready for this guy? Because you are going to love this guy.
This is going to be good.
This is going to be good. This man in 2000 brought New York Jets football to San Diego, and he founded the San Diego New York Jets fan club. And they watched games in the gaslamp district of San Diego, and he was there for years. Then he moved to Texas in the Austin area and decided, I'm not going to watch Jet games alone. So he did it again. And he started another fan club, and that one's still alive today. The Austin Jets Fan Club CEO, the bagel eating, pizza eating, bagel pizza eating, pickled herring loving, gefilte fish frying, Italian Jewish loving, comedian funny, the acre owning, fancy car driving, dog and cat loving, the greatest business owner / jet plan / comedian in the world. Rocco!
Hello, my friends, and it's very good to be here on your cast. This is lovely. Such an honor to be here with VInny. Jeremy, thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to talk about Jets football, all of our exciting shit that's happening right now with our team.
We got some great things happening, right? It's just endless. You know, usually every year we would think like the topic is usually in most years being the Jets fan is we go, I don't know about you, but I go into a season thinking and always thinking that we need so much more. We need a lot more. There's so many names. And now here we are going into a season, and all I see people complaining about is, oh, it'd be great to have Dalvin Cook because if Breece Hall's not healthy, it'd be great to have a better backup quarterback than Zach Wilson. Now, whether you agree with him or not, that's not asking a lot. It's not unobtainable. When's the last time the Jets went into a season with such low demands from the fans of what more we need to make them feel comfortable?
Ben?
Exactly. I mean, this is the first time in a long time for us as Jets fans to go into a season where it's not, we can just try to shake that mentality of just the whole same old Jets thing. And then just like, I mean, for once, we're talking playoffs. Dare I say Super Bowl? I mean, finally, the roster, top to bottom, pillar to post, both the offensive line, the defensive line, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, the 4-time MVP. People are talking about the New York Jets. We're finally relevant again. And I can't wait for just this preseason to start. And just part of me just says, when does the other shoe drop?
And there's a lot to be said about that too, because you, Jeremy, we've seen it before. Like, we've had positive outlooks in the season, and there's always something we were missing. And ever since the brick line with Mangold and everything else, with having an offensive line to block for what we had that was sort of subpar back at quarterback or at running back, mainly quarterback, was not relevant. Now that we have a relevant quarterback, we have a relevant running back core. We don't need Dalvin Cook. We have what we need right now. If we did it with the porcelain doll, Chad Pennington, we could do it with whoever. Like, people want to come to the New York Jets. Why is Dalvin Cook even considering coming? Yeah, sure, we'll give you $2,000. $2,000 a game. That's what he should get, because we're already good. We're already good. We don't need another running back. Am I correct, Jeremy?
I don't think we need another running back. If we get him dirt cheap, fine. Welcome to the team. I'm glad you want to be on a Super Bowl contender. You probably could have made more money somewhere else, but you believed in the team. That, veteran in the locker room, all that. Fine. Depth at the position, experience at the position. Do I feel like we need him? If we were to sign him, I'd probably be more excited that we deprived the Miami Dolphins of him than I am having him. Because my hope is that Breece Hall is healthy and that by midseason we're just getting a large dose of Breece Hall.
I like that. Vin, right?
I'm totally on board with bringing Dalvin Cook in, because at this point in time, it would be having a luxury. Is it the end of the world if we don't bring in a Dalvin Cook? I said this on last week's episode. Absolutely not. We're not hurting at running back when you got Breece Hall coming back. You got Michael Carter behind him. You just drafted Izzy and you invested a 5th-round selection in him. You got Bam Knight on the practice team. But if Cook doesn't want to come here, he wants to go to the Fish, God forbid, whatever. Guys, there's other guys on the market. You want to bring in a Kareem Hunt? You want to bring in Ezekiel Elliott? To me, running backs are a dime a dozen. Would I like to have him here? Absolutely. Does he have to be here? No.
No, you're absolutely correct in that. I mean, running backs have a very short history unless your name is Curtis Martin, Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith. I mean, there's only a few that last throughout the years and that are durable. I mean, Henry's breaking out too. So if you really look at like what we really need, we need pass protection. We need to pound the rock. We need that fire that Robert Saleh is giving this team. Building a culture around what we have right now is absolutely amazing. And I haven't seen it since Rex threw a fire into a total crap storm. Hard Knocks was awesome. It got us all fired up. But it was all sort of hyperbole. Like, we got excited because our team hasn't done crap forever. Now we're actually doing stuff that's tangible. Real players, real culture, not smoke and mirrors. Like people are sort of on notice right now. And they can go, oh, it's the same old Jets. We're going to walk all over them. We beat good teams last year. We just failed upon the stretch because of offensive woes. Let's just call it that. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, man, we were talking about it before. This just, feels different, right? And I know it feels different for you this year. And I was talking about before offline, this has felt different since the Jamal Adams trade, since the draft where we the moment we traded up for AVT, it just felt different. And then getting Elijah the next day, I mean, we didn't know how it was going to turn out, but and then Michael Carter, I mean, there was just a feeling that we had a real GM that knew what he was doing. And then we saw, just from the free agents, they said, this guy's serious. He's bringing in pieces. He's not overpaying for 1 or 2 stars with a rotten core, thinking that, the way we've done it for years and years and it never works. Here's a guy who's getting role players, looking for good value as he was going to build through the draft. And in just 2 years, he went from a 2020 roster when we fired Adam Gase that was completely stripped. And then just here we are 2.5, 3 years later, and we have a roster that attracted a future Hall of Fame quarterback because he believed we were the roster. He could have that one last run.
That's true. And let me interject something real quick. As a New York Rangers fan my whole life, the Rangers would always get some past their prime free agents. Now I'm not gonna bash any of those past their prime free agents, but you don't build a team around guys that at their end of their career. We're now building a culture around what do you love? What are you passionate about? What do you want to accomplish? Not guys that have accomplished those things, but guys that want to accomplish the future accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this type of environment that Joe Douglas obviously started, and bringing Robert Saleh in, that has this crazy fire, like crazy fire. He brought his get back guy with him from San Fran. Like, get the hell off the field guy. That guy, the strength and conditioning guy. I don't know if that's his real position, but his position is to grab Saleh off the field because he's way too hyped, and he makes his players hype, and everybody that talks about Saleh is hyped. Like, this is different. I've been around it too long. Jeremy, you and I are the same age. I got a damn tattoo of Namath under center on my back, and he won the Super Bowl 7 months before I was born. And I have a mural of him under center on my back. I got Jets tattoos over here. I got every type of lineage that you'd want as a Jets fan without seeing us win.
Amazing. And we've waited.
The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. And this is the way a team is supposed to be built. That you're supposed to build a team from the inside out, not the outside in. Free agents are nice, but at the end of the day, what are they? They're Band-Aids for, short-term success. We saw it in 2015 with the Ryan Fitzpatrick, Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall Jets. Yeah, we had a quick run, but at the end of the day, it fizzled out and it left us in a cap mess. This is setting up the team for long-term success. Franchises like the Steelers, the Patriots, the Chiefs, where they're constantly in the mix every single year. It's nice to go on these 09 and 10. Yeah, we loved it. We were excited. But at the end of the day, Mike Tannenbaum, I know he would move heaven and earth to get that prize free agent. But again, what did it end up doing? Long-term damage. Because ever since that second AFC title run, we've been in a desert, just wandering at this point. Wandering.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about JD is, and what I believe, and what I'm excited about, is that even while we are now a contender and we pushed all the chips in the middle, he's still drafted well. He's still putting in pieces for the long term. Next year, I guarantee you, watch him. He's still, he finds good talent. Look what he did with Max Mitchell, right, in the 4th round. We were talking about that before, Rocco. This guy brings in exciting players. You never know what round it's going to come in, right? I mean, Jamie Sherwood, I'm expecting big things from him. We grabbed him. What was he, a 5th rounder?
Yeah, 5th round.
Right. So this team is led by leaders who, like the Rams and like some other teams that Baltimore, that managed to Pittsburgh, that have managed to stay winning organizations by building through the draft, but also investing in their scouting and really being smart about the selections they make. It's not just about a 1st round pick. You can't build a team every year like first round pick, and those are guys that are going to be the core of your team. You have to get value in the 3rd round, the 4th round, the 5th round. That's how championship teams are built. Yep. And, Rodgers will eventually be done. And we'll see what it's going to be. But the point is, as long as we keep a really powerful, deep roster with a great system that they've done, for years, they'll all be very experienced. Okay, we'll find that next quarterback to slide in there after Rodgers is done. There might be a year off, but eventually we'll get it. But the point is, everyone's going to want to come play for the New York Jets because we're going to be that type of organization.
I got to say something. As you're saying that about Rodgers and the next quarterback. Now, if there's anybody that's been I've not ever been a hater of drafting, and I'd never want to put a black mark on our draft and why we took Zach, right? Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold, I might have been a fanboy. Like I had positive, like I've met Dumbo from freaking Cleveland a few times. He plays at my golf course. Zach needed to sit. He needed to sit and learn the way that Aaron Rodgers sat and learned for 3 years under Brett Favre. Now, Brett Favre was not a teacher, but Aaron Rodgers is smart enough to sit there and observe what Brett Favre was doing. If Zach could take that same thing away, now Zach and Aaron had a relationship that we know of, that we've seen from the outside looking in. We don't know what their relationship is, but from the outside looking in, they had a relationship. Now, if Zach is smart, he'll learn from Aaron. We might have our quarterback. We might actually have our quarterback if Zach takes in. He wants to be a quarterback. He doesn't want to live off of JetBlue money, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Zach is our guy. He does have freakish arm talent. Aaron had freakish arm talent. But 3 years he sat behind Favre, right? I think the number was three before he actually, right? I mean, I don't want to go through 2 years of Aaron Rodgers is awesome, and then we're back to square one with everybody but a quarterback. Maybe Zach learns. Maybe Zach is coached. Maybe Zach takes in that shit, and then we have a quarterback. Oh my God, a 10-year quarterback. I would kill to have Chad Pennington right now. Yeah. With this offense, with this defense, I would kill to have Chad Pennington right now.
In his prime before his injury, absolutely. I think that there's a chance, there's a possibility in Zach Wilson. I think that the Jets are going to be strategic about it. I think when Aaron leaves, if they find a way to keep Zach on the roster, because he will be a free agent by the time, assuming Aaron plays 2 years. If they keep Zach on the roster, if he wants to stay because he learned under Aaron and he knows the system, and he's, they promise him the opportunity, maybe he gets that 1 year window, that 1 year opportunity after Rodgers leaves. And if he's good, and or if he's really good, then he's our guy, and we got that quarterback. And if he's not, then we have to go out. We have to find another one. That was the downside of Zach not working out right away. Can you imagine if he would have exploded onto the scene and been awesome, and he was like where Trevor Lawrence is right now?
Yeah, but who's done that? Who's done that in the past? Hardly anybody.
Hardly anybody.
Hardly anybody. So Zach, if he wants a prolonged career in this NFL, he will sit down, shut up, watch what this master is going to do in front of him, and he can become that guy. Because if we go back to square one, what does that mean? We're rebuilding again. Because without a proven track record quarterback, we're not going anywhere.
Right. It's all about quarterback.
Right, Ben?
If I may say something, and no disrespect, but I have to respectfully disagree here. Personally, I think Zach lost any chance of being a starting quarterback in this market when he didn't take accountability in that second Patriots loss. That's when I just thought he didn't just lose the team, he lost the fans at that point.
I get it.
Let's pretend that he led us to a wild card and we were one and done last week. Rodgers is not here at this point. Then we're talking about, well, is the team ready to take the next step? Forget it. Now we're talking about Super Bowl. So now you got to consider, you put yourself in a situation where next year, going into Zach's fourth year, teams got to make a decision. Are they picking up his option or not? I could tell you right now, I'm almost confident there is no chance in hell they're picking up this kid's option. Now you have to understand, go back to what you said earlier, Rocco. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. That probably helps in our situation, because maybe he's got more gas in the tank than we think. But the fact that he didn't take a hit those first 3 years. Brady played until 46. Manning played until his early 40s. Kurt Warner played into his early 40s. They all had Super Bowl runs. Difficult, not impossible. I think we might have Aaron Rodgers here if we could keep him upright and keep a wall in front of him. If Mekhi Becton shows up, how about that for a change? Dare I say, maybe Aaron Rodgers is the franchise quarterback for 3 years, and we have 3 stabs at getting a Lombardi trophy, and maybe bring one of them home? Maybe? Am I too crazy to think that?
How about we bring 2 home and Rodgers goes into the Hall of Fame with a jet cap on?
Oh my goodness. If he brings 2 of them home, I guarantee you we're going to have a stadium and this team goes back to playing in New York City. Write that down.
Imagine having a stadium back home.
Please. That would be amazing.
It would, because all those hurt people that say, "Oh, you play in New Jersey." Hey, shut up. All right, shut up. Shut up with all that. And it's always the new school people that talk about that. Oh, the Jets and Giants play in New Jersey. Buffalo's the only New York team. No, Buffalo's not New York. Buffalo's freaking Canada. So screw those freaking up north motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm obviously censoring myself right now, but I get what you're saying, Vin. You know, I do have confidence because Zach does have freakish arm strength, but Zach did lose the crowd because he didn't take responsibility, but he also backtracked and did take accountability after the fact. You know, everybody likes a comeback story. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he messed up. Maybe he was too drowned in MILF box or whatever, but
Hey, Vinny. Hey, Vinny.
Yeah.
What do you get when you mix a Jets chaos with a Vinny C together?
What do we got?
A Rocco.
whenever you need me, I'm here.
So I meant to do this in the beginning of the show just so people can get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
Rocco. Tell us just a little bit about where you grew up, how you ended up in San Diego as the running a Jets fan club there, and then how you went to Austin and what's going on in Austin today, and how people, if there's anybody in Texas or anybody in the Austin area at any point, how they can, find out about you guys and hang out, watch some Jets.
Sure, Jeremy. So to make a long story short, and it's not going to be short, so I'm long-winded, but I'll get to the point. So I moved to San Diego in '98. Started networking with people as a Jets fan. I was in the golf business. I was a golf pro. Had a pizzeria with some of my friends, and the pizzeria was actually a authentic New York pizzeria. And there were Giants and Jets fans that would come in. The Giants fans could go take a walk. The Jets fans would come to my house on the weekends. We'd watch the games at my house. This was in 2000. The Jets get into the wild card against the Chargers. So I start calling bars, because Sean Deegan, the soothsayer from Jets Insider, and a bunch of other guys, Alex Klein, they're like, where are we meeting before we come into town? And I found a bar, Henry's Pub, in the Gaslamp District. So we went from 80 members from my house to 240 within a week. And that became our home bar, Henry's Pub. Now it's the third largest Jets club in the world. My buddy Gabriel Martinez, who's my little brother, and Mike Lawson run it now. My partner, Rob, is now moving to South Carolina. But the bottom line is that we started there. I built it up. I moved to Austin because I closed my gym in San Diego in 2017. And my buddy Steve ran the Austin Jets Fans Club. And I've been out here once before. And Steve has some medical issues, and his wife gave me the go-ahead to take over the Austin crew. So there was the Austin Jets fans and the downtown Austin Jets fans. And I said, I don't need this. We need to have both of them come together. So I brought them both together. I grabbed the partner. His name is John Carabello. Brought him in. Me and Johnny run it now. We were at Foxy's Proper Pub and Cedar Door. And now we're moving to a new bar called Haymaker, which is a bigger sports bar, more fan-friendly for our crew. It's going to be amazing. I could never stop rooting for our team no matter where I am. Even when I was in San Diego, I'd meet people from New York, and I'd be like, oh, my God, you're from New York. What team? Jets or Giants? They're like, well, I used to be a Jets fan, but I live here in San Diego, so I'm a Chargers fan. Well, see you later. Don't want to know your name. Don't care. Doesn't matter where you're at. You stay true to your team. So Austin is my home. I love it here. Texas is amazing. The people out here are amazing. Haymaker Bar and Grill, sports bar on Maynard in lovely Austin, Texas is our new home. So little background.
Love it, love it. Now, in the years that you're now in Austin, San Diego, any stories? Anybody ever approach you wearing Jet stuff and go a little too far? You know, a little bit more than the simple Jet suck, but kind of get in your face, push you a little bit too far. Anything like that ever happen?
This is on the internet, right?
You don't have to say names, and you don't have to admit it to any crimes.
Yeah, there's been some jerk offs.
Yeah,
sure, but they effed around and found out quite quick. Listen, we're always going to run into people that are fans and where we're from with bad attitudes. It doesn't matter what team you're a fan of, you know. I've kicked Jets fans out of my home bar in San Diego, and I've literally thrown guys out of the Austin Jets fans crew over politics. So that's why we don't do politics with any of our crews ever. Yeah, I have had that happen before. It's not pleasant, but the climate of today, people can't separate fandom and dumb shit. Like, we are probably the funniest fan base there is, if you really come to think about it. Like, with our chants, with our razzing, with our non-violence, just our shit talk. We're amazing at it. Other teams don't get it. Other fan bases don't get it. And I feel like some of our new generation can't take it either when I'm razzing people, because my tongue is really short, and I will degrade somebody, but I'll do it in a nice way until they get to that point where they're idiots. But yeah, there's been some incidents, Jeremy. Vinny, I'm sure you've seen some stuff in the past.
I live it here. I live in the heart of New England, man. Every time, and my father has told me, you always wear your colors of your team, but especially more when they lose. Because just like with Italians, there's one thing the common denominator always is: loyalty. Because loyalty goes a long way. And I've been beat and battered by this franchise. And I always say at the end of the year, I've had enough. They've done it to me again. But here I am every September, and I put on this green shirt because loyalty goes a long way. And I tell everyone, when they ask me, Vin, how long have you been a Jets fan? I tell them since 1960. Well, like, wait a minute, you're 37? I was like, yeah, that was 26 years before I was even born. That's how long I've been a fan. And I've been waiting and waiting. And my dad came to this country in the early 80s, and they say, well, at least Pops got to see Namath run off the field and go number one. I was like, no, he didn't. He wasn't even here yet. He came here. He only picked this team because it matched his hometown soccer team with the colors, the Kelly green. He saw Gastineau and Klecko, and he said, these are my guys. These are my guys. And little did he know how tough it was going to be, because I tell people the closest I've ever seen glory is 98, 09, 10, and they blew it all three times.
Well, 94 with the New York Rangers winning the cup, but I'm not going to go hockey on you, but that was quite lovely.
Yeah, well, I was at Game 2 of the World Series when the Yankees won in 09, so I got to experience that championship, and it was totally out of this world. But I firmly believe, though, a Jets Super Bowl, a ticker tape parade on Broadway, it would be something to a different magnitude. Nothing like what the Giants experience. And no disrespect to the Giants, they have their 4 Lombardis. They're a first-class franchise. I do not like the Giants. I'm jealous of the Giants. But if we brought a championship to New York City, it would be something out of this world. The celebration would go on for 3 days of nonstop sleep.
You're right. You're right. It absolutely would. Listen, it's like when Messier came and won the cup for the Rangers after 54 years.
Mm-hmm.
This championship for the Jets Aaron Rodgers could become the Messiah. He could become mess.
I would go further than that. If Aaron Rodgers, and I'm on record, if he brings a Lombardi to New York City, to the New York Jets, I think he would be bigger in the city than Joe Torre. That's how big of a deal it would be.
Well, oh, that's big. That's big.
Yeah.
Look, he would definitely be a legend, especially to Jet fans. I mean, he would. It's really hard to even put to words. Like it's one of those kind of magical things. If we win the Super Bowl, the parades, the electricity, just the overall feelings of Jet fans, especially, whether you've been a Jet fan for 10 years, I mean, because the last 10 years have been so hard, or whether you've been a fan for the last 50 years, it's like there's no amount of time you could have been a Jet fan where this wouldn't be amazing,
We've dealt with so much heartache. It's just at some point in time, it just, not just with football, with all sports, curses are meant to come to an end. I mean, for God's sake, I had to be put through watching the Red Sox end the curse in 2004, which was one of the worst things in life I ever had to deal with. But the Cubbies won after 108 years. We saw the Buccaneers win twice. The Eagles won. The Saints, they were the Aints. They won. Like, why not us? It's like we are so due. And like, it's when we have our great years, it's not just that they end sadly. They end in dramatic Jets fashion, for lack of a better way of saying it. Like 98, we were up 10-0 going into the fourth, and you saw how that game ended. 2009, we weren't even supposed to be there. We had the Colts on the ropes for 3.5 quarters, and then it fell apart. Then the following year, we went into it saying, we just beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. We're going there to whoop their ass again. And then they didn't show up for the first half of the game. I'm like, how could this keep happening? Like, what, like seriously, like, did Joe really sell his soul in 69? Because sometimes I wonder.
I wonder the same thing, man. And it's funny when you mention the Bucks and you mention Tom Brady going to the Bucks, because it was all about Belichick, right? But he goes to the Bucks, and guess who became the biggest Tom Brady fan? Me. Because when he went to the Bucks and he wins the Super Bowl, it was the biggest FU to New England ever. Ever. Because they thought, oh, it was Bill Belichick. All those chowds. They were like, he'll never do anything. He'll never win. And what did he do? He went and won one without Belichick. Listen, this year, the Patriots are at the bottom of the barrel. Like seriously, Belichick should basically retire. He should just get out of the game. He already proved everything.
He wants the record for wins.
No, but you know what it is with Bill, though, and I've said this to Patriots fans, and they don't want to hear it, but I'm going to keep saying it, is ever since Tom left, he's accomplished nothing. I'm sorry, I don't see the coach that won 6 rings in New England and another 2 with the Giants. I see the guy who got fired in Cleveland. That's who he is. He doesn't do anything special. He wants nothing to do with the offense. He's always run a stout defense. But the way the game is going in 2023, and I know we have a defensive-minded coach, if you don't have basically a head coach at offensive coordinator, you're not going to go far. That's why I love the Nathaniel Hackett hire. You bring in the guy who's basically like a brother to your quarterback. He won 2 MVPs with him, and I'm glad you referenced Brady. And by no means am I saying Aaron Rodgers is Tom Brady. Brady's in a league of his own. But that Tampa team, don't forget, they started the season 5-5. People wrote them off. Like, this guy's old, they're finished. And then they just started to click. And look, they went all the way and they won the whole thing. He should have legitimately just ran off into the sunset. There was no need to play 2 more years. But he proved it right then and there. I'm not a system quarterback. I'm not Belichick's boy toy. I'm the greatest of all time. That was it.
Yep.
And look, it's the New England's. I mean, it's hard to imagine unless Miami has a ton of injuries or, something weird happens. New England's going to finish last in the division. And most of their own fan base knows it. Like, a lot of their own fan base know it. And Belichick is over 70 years old. So what's the future of that team? I don't know. But for right now, they're not interfering with this run that we're on. Obviously Miami has some good talent. We can't if we don't take them seriously, if we're just the team has got to obviously take them very seriously. But I believe that if they play their best game and we play our best game with Aaron Rodgers, we're going to win. The real test is Buffalo. To me, it's that's who we're aiming for. That's who we're looking at. We're fighting to overtake Buffalo in the division. And the question is, can we do it? Can we overtake Buffalo? We beat them with Zach Wilson at quarterback last year.
Very true. Very true.
And that's why I firmly believe week 1 is must win. It's absolute must. And it's not to legitimize the Aaron Rodgers move. It's must win because it's a division opponent. You're at home. It's 9-11. You put yourself in first place and you drop the Bills into last place immediately. And then you send the message to the rest of the NFL. The Jets are coming.
Yep, you're right. It's 9/11. There's the towers right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there's the towers. You never forget. 9/11, Jets playing. We're going to go wreck shop on that. And that's going to set the standard for sure.
Yeah, we need to start winning, especially on 9/11. They got to start taking some more pride in the city. Get it together. Let's go. Let's do this. No more excuses. We got everything we need. We got all the tools, but they better take that game very seriously. They have to take that extra, kind of like go in and use that as extra motivation. It's like, come on, man. It's 9/11. It's a day where a lot of us felt a lot of pain and are still feel that pain. So we need something good to happen on that day. We need to do something where we can be proud and say, hey, to all those heroes that died that day, hey, tribute to you.
Yeah, it's totally true, man. Another side note, one of the great things about being out here in Austin, so I run this golf course called Falcon Head Golf Course, right? I run all the outside service there. Next to my golf course is Lake Travis High School. Brett Beatty, who currently plays for the New York Mets. But more importantly, Garrett Wilson graduated from there. Garrett Wilson's mom, Candace, is a member of my Austin Jets fans crew and currently sits next to myself and my girlfriend at the bar every week.
That's awesome.
Which is absolutely amazing. There are some hometown connections here in Austin. This place where I'm at, Lake Travis High School and Westlake, produces so many pro football players, it'll make your head spin. But Garrett Wilson is what I'm talking about. He's from where I am right now, which is the craziest stuff ever.
Wow.
It is so surreal to watch a game with Garrett's mom and her going crazy. Crazy. Like, there's her son playing for our beloved team. She still doesn't really get it because that's just her son. She doesn't understand the struggles. Like, I might as well, that's Keyshawn's mom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how, the lineage, the pain and suffering that we've been through as Jets fans. Like, oh, my son made it to the NFL. Oh, he's on the Jets. Yeah, he's on our team. Our team. Like, that's our heart, right, Jeremy? Like,
right? I would say to her, if I could say one thing to her, I'd say, do you understand the shining light that your son is in our lives? There's just no. Can you understand how much we love and adore your son?
Rocco, I gotta ask you: was she with you guys in the Austin bar when he caught the game winner versus Cleveland?
Yes.
Oh wow!
Yes, and it was awesome. It was awesome. He got 2 touchdowns that day, but the game winner was the capper when he was screaming at the fans over there because he's back in Ohio, obviously playing for Ohio State. That was absolutely incredible. I might as well have been banned from the bar at that point, even though I ran the crew out of that bar. But it was such a great thing, man. I'm just so excited. I'm so happy to be on your guys' podcast for sure. This is an honor, VInny, Jeremy. This is really good. you know, I
Pleasure's all
follow.
ours, man. The pleasure's all ours. This was
Absolutely.
long overdue.
Yeah, happy to have you, man.
Yeah, man. I'd love to do more with you guys. It's just there's so many things I can talk to you guys about with what I've seen, what I've experienced over the years. You know, from my parents having season tickets to Shea Stadium, to crossing the picket lines when my brother Mike was a scab football player for the Jets,
Wow.
and having Klecko punch the car and spit on it back in the day. Because my brother Mike was going to go play scab football for the Jets back in Hofstra. It was just, I believe this stuff, man, and I'll never ever stop loving our team. You know, from doing the tailgates in Austin, in San Diego with Frankie Gabagool from the LA Jets fans, and just all the great memories, man. You know, it's I live this stuff. Unfortunately, my girlfriend's had to learn to adjust because she's a Texan and she's a Cowboys fan.
Right.
It is what it is.
Well, that's going to be a hell of what is it? Week 3 we play them or week 2?
I think it's week 2.
Week 2. So that's going to be a hell of a house down there. I mean, like you got a lot of space, right? You got about an acre. So are you going to be in separate rooms, or no? You're going to be in the bar watching. So
No, we'll be at the game.
Oh, you're going to be
We'll be at the game and at the hotel. We'll be at the Omni. We already got everything booked. We already have a tailgate planned with the Houston Jets fans with Alexis Gepner and oh my God, I'm an idiot right now. The Dallas crew, Chris from the Dallas crew. We're gonna have a big tailgate. We're working out the details right now. I'll post it up on our site. Maybe you guys could throw it out on your site as well. But we're expecting at least 500 for the tailgate. For the game, it's every man for himself. Those seats are expensive, really expensive to go to that game. I've bought tickets at other places, and Jerry World is ridiculous.
Wow, Vinny, isn't Steve Sack Exchange going to that game?
I'm gonna have to follow up with him on that one. I'm not sure.
I think he's going to Dallas, so make sure he finds out about that tailgate party and everything.
Yeah, put him in touch with me, Vin, for sure.
Yeah,
that'd be good, man.
I think some of the guys from the lounge are going to that game. I think Kenny is going to be down there too.
Ton of Jets fans are going down there.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, we'll have to make sure that everybody knows they could find me on Facebook. They can find me on Austin Jets fans on Facebook. Yes, I'm old. I still do the Facebook thing, but that's the easiest way to find me. I don't do Snapchat. I'm barely on Instagram with the Austin Jets fans, even though I own the rights to that thing. I don't know how to transfer it to one of the younger people in my crew. Hopefully, I will learn how to do that soon. I'm sort of beside myself with this season coming up. You know, to have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, like when we got Brett Favre, I was crazy excited.
Yeah,
like crazy. Like, remember him getting off the private jet? Like, wow, we got Brett Favre. Yeah, he might be old as hell, but it's Brett Favre. Yeah. And then he got hurt.
That was wild because I quick little side note with that. I was at the practice at Hofstra the day before the trade went down, and I tell everyone I'm there at Hofstra, I'm watching practice, and I'm like following on my phone. Is this going to happen? There was probably, give or take, maybe like 100 to 200 fans watching practice that day. I go home that night, and the news broke a little after midnight. He just got traded to the Jets. I drove back to Hofstra, called out of work, and went down there. Let me tell you, it went from 1 to 200 fans to maybe 2 to 3,000 fans the very next day. And I'm like stacks and stacks and stacks of tables, all with number 4 jerseys. It was wild. It was totally wild. I never saw anything over one guy.
One guy.
You know, the difference for me between the Favre and the Aaron Rodgers is I always wonder what would have happened if everything was just timed a little differently and Brett Favre came to the Jets in 09, in the Rex Ryan era with that defense, you know, a year later, a year and a half later, right? And I think the difference is that Aaron Rodgers, it's the equivalent of, yeah, like Brett Favre, but he's joining us at that moment, in the 09, 010 moment. He's joining us right at that moment where we're ready to make that real push. And that's the difference, because the difference between how I felt when we got Favre and Rodgers, super excited for both, super excited when we got Favre. But with Aaron Rodgers, it feels like the timing is perfect because I think this team is more ready and better than the team that Favre took over. I think this
100%.
is a better team. So
100%.
Yep.
I just cannot say how excited I am about it, because if you look at the way we were playing before all the injuries to the offensive line and Breece Hall, and you look and now imagine that team, imagine a more healthy offensive line, and now imagine that team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And suddenly I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be thinking we're going to go all the way. Like we are allowed to believe that, and we are legitimate for believing it, because I don't care what the rest of the league sees because we lost those last 5 games.
Yep.
They don't know. They don't know about the injuries. They don't follow them week to week. They don't know that we were on our 5th and 6th tackles, that our offensive line was an infirmary. They don't know any of that. And they don't realize what we were before that all transpired. And you put a guy like Aaron Rodgers with Garrett Wilson, this team's going to be ridiculous.
And then we got Hardman. We got, like, no one's talking about Hardman. That guy is so fast, like ridiculous fast.
He
like,
runs a 4.33.
Yeah, he will dust everybody on our team. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he might have A to B speed, like vertical speed, but cool, good, because Garrett will go this way, Hardman will go that way, like hardcore that way. There's so many positives. Like we have so many more weapons. Yeah, and if Favre would have walked into that offense instead of Sanchez, guaranteed 2 Super Bowls. I could say it right now. Guaranteed.
But that's what makes Rodgers unique. Because when we went up to Green Bay last year and we beat their ass, and they had the press conference after the game, something in my head was just turning. Because when you heard Rodgers speak, he goes, he was complimenting the hell out of our offense, our defense, our coach. He goes, and I know this was a bad beat on us, but I'm paraphrasing. This isn't quoting, but he was like, there's this misconception out there that they're this bad team because they're the Jets. They have a lot of weapons. Their defense is stellar. I respect the hell out of their head coach. And mind you, remember, we were scrimmaging with Green Bay in Green Bay that year, and he got to know the staff. And I was like, why is he complimenting? Like, he saw, like, the potential was there. We had the wrong quarterback in place. Fine. But he didn't want to be there in Green Bay. What favors did they do for Green Bay for him in the last year? Draft his heir? Yeah, that makes the team better. Good job.
Ruined him. Soured him immediately.
Exactly.
The minute they brought in Jordan Love, ruined him. He's like, why? I'm your franchise guy. I'm still young. I could still win for us. But you draft a quarterback high up in the draft?
In the first round, mind you. I don't think they ever drafted a receiver for him in his tenure in Green Bay in the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope, they did not. Here you go. This is what we got. Fire sale. Make them good.
And that's why, you know what? I firmly believe, gentlemen, we're going to get a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, huge chip on his shoulder with something to prove. I know for a fact, I read up on it, when he heard Brady was able to pick his team, go to Tampa, a built defense, an offensive-minded Super Bowl winning coach, it infuriated him that he was able to do that. And yeah, granted, he got that contract that set him up for life, but it trapped him because they didn't put a team around him. All they did was put hundreds of millions of dollars around him, but there's no team. Trust me, these guys all have an ego, and it gets to them. He wants to cement his legacy, and the best way to do it is go to a cursed, woe-begone franchise like the New York Jets, bring them their first Lombardi in 5.5 decades, and then ride off into the sunset. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Listen, Vin, you're absolutely right. But one thing that we have not talked about at all in this cast is how good our defense is. How good when we got Sauce Gardner. I didn't know this guy. Did you guys know this guy? I didn't know this guy.
I knew for one reason, because a friend of mine, a lot of people out there know, his name is Frankie from Flatbush. I did a show with him, and I used to be on his channel. Mm-hmm. And for some, because he's in, I don't know why or how, but he was all over that kid even before anybody talked about him, and got me so into Sauce Gardner. And even though I wanted Thibodeau, I'm not going to lie about that. I was sure Thibodeau's name. When they took Sauce Gardner, I knew we were getting someone special. I just didn't think the position was right. Boy, am I happy I was wrong and they made that pick. Oh my God. Because as good as you think someone could be and as excited as I was, how could I have known year one he'd play like an elite all-pro cornerback?
He went all pro as a rookie. That hasn't been done since Ronnie Lott. That was the early 80s.
Yep. And at Revis's draft party, am I right? Was he at Revis's draft party?
Sauce.
That
I'm not sure about, actually.
Yeah, there was a picture of him at Revis's draft party. There was actually a video of him being there at Revis's draft party.
That's sick.
You should look at that one, because that was amazing. That's one of the things that stood out for me. And then as he came up, but that's one guy. DJ Reed was a massive steal, because I was like, who? DJ Reed I thought that Legion of Boom was gone out of Seattle. And then we get some guy from Seattle, DJ Reed. Crazy. Holy crap. How good is he? Then we start building up these stat bitches, these massive guys. Shepard, developing. That guy is a monster, right? And he's an afterthought. Jermaine Johnson. Who? Who's Jermaine Johnson? And they were looking at him. They were looking at, come and get me. Like, we have monsters. Obviously, Quinn and Williams. Ridiculous. But his brother, Quincy is insane. We have such a bunch of freak athletes. And then when Quan Alexander's not even signed, maybe he will be. Who knows? But our new rookie is a freak of nature that could be a taller, thinner, faster John Abraham coming from the outside.
It's sick.
I didn't think about our defense because I thought our defense was good. And then they keep adding to the defense. It's pretty insane. If they can't move the ball on that side, Zach Wilson could succeed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If our defense is that good, we could have Strevler win us the Super Bowl.
I don't think we've seen depth on this team on both sides of the ball since the Parcells era.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that when you think about like guys like Clemens, right? None of the NFL knows about Clemens. Michael Clemens.
No.
They have no idea who he is even. That's the funny thing. And then you got people. Then you got fans that only know how to look at one stat line, right? So they look at Jermaine Johnson, and they look and they say, "Oh, he's a bust for the Jets. He only had a few sacks," and it's like, no, he played 20% of the snaps. He was the reason we were able to shut down Josh Allen, right? Because Josh Allen lost the ability to run to the outside because JJ doesn't let it happen. He bounces off the tackle and he clovers you. So people have no idea. And then when you look at this kid McDonald, right, you're saying who's a freak, And
Free.
you got Carl Lawson, second year off the Achilles. Look at history. Look at other players. Second year off the Achilles. This is the year he really comes back.
And taking a pay cut just so he could stay.
Yeah. It's an absolute insane defensive line. It's absolutely insane. I mean, we have 8 legitimate studs.
Yep.
If not 9 and 10. I'm forgetting because I'm not even talking about the inside guys. The guy that came from Seattle is a great run stopper. I mean,
99. That monster.
They're all decent. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy defensive line. I cannot wait to watch them. They're going to terrorize teams.
Terrorize.
I mean, it's going to be
so excited. So
Definitely
excited.
have the potential to be the #1 defense in the league again, which hasn't happened since Rex. It could definitely happen. It just we need the football gods to be on our side because our Achilles heel is the injury factor, and it already bit us with Chuck Clark, and hopefully that's where it ends.
And he was quickly replaced.
And that's a testament that we actually have a real GM in the front office and not an accountant, which we're used to getting.
Exactly.
That right there. Yep.
Yeah.
JD's smart. He's a business guy. You know, learning under the Baltimore GM and then going to build the team at Philly to win a Super Bowl. And now he's with us. It wasn't Idzik, who was a disaster. Tannenbaum, cool, whatever. F that guy.
Mike McCagnon, let's not forget that guy.
Yeah.
We'd like to forget that guy.
I can forget a lot of GMs, trust me, over the years. I don't remember the names because they weren't worth me remembering their names. But
there's been some bad ones.
Oh God. It's just I don't know. It feels very different this year. Rodgers is putting in the work. Hopefully he puts in the work to Zach. That's what I'm really concerned with. And you can only, the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't teach him to drink. You can teach a man to fish. Blah, blah, blah. Zach, please watch this shit. Stop chasing box constantly. Learn from Aaron Rodgers. That's supposed to be like your idol or whatever. Learn from him. Become our franchise. Imagine Zach turns into that guy. We need that guy after Aaron. I keep thinking about, I don't want to go through, hey, we did it. And then we suck for 15 more years, 20 years, 30 years. I'm going to be dead. It'd be nice to have that run. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a run for a few years where we're relevant every freaking season.
Yeah, look, it would just be so awesome. I mean, I think we're all on the same page, especially, with this. I think the number one priority is we want that freaking ring. We want that trophy. We want that championship. We want that monkey off our back. That has to happen. That's what we need to happen. But that's not it alone. We don't want to. I mean, we want to win it. We'll win it at all costs. But it would be ideal if it didn't come and then we just die down, and 2 years later are just the bottom of the league team. I mean, the number 2 thing on our list is we win that Super Bowl, but for the next 10, 15 years, we're right up there in the division. We're right up there in the AFC. We're Baltimore. We're Pittsburgh. We're that kind of organization, the kind of organization that every year goes into the season with us giving us the hope, right? And the reason to believe that this could be another year that we make the push and, we go all the way.
We're relevant, is what you're saying, Jeremy. Every year, we're relevant. We're always in the conversation, right, Vin? I mean, we got to be relevant every year. That's what we've been lacking. Not the laughing stock, not the horse shit, not, same old Jets. I want to weed out all the same old Jets fans, even though I know a lot of them. They're my friends. Screw them. Let's cut those guys out of our lives, make them believers. That would make me really happy with our fan base, And Jeremy, you and I talked about guys that hated on Fireman Ed. Well, they're idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
idiots.
the way you got to change that narrative, guys, though, is you got to win. You got to win early. The season cannot be over by Columbus Day. We can't be talking about the draft in October and then start rooting for losses. And hand up, I'm guilty of it. Once I know the team starts 1-6, 2-8, yeah, I'm rooting for losses because at that point, what are we doing here? I want the best player in the draft. But I'm tired of doing that. I told Jeremy last week on the show, I was at the last Jets home playoff game, okay? And to think I was a 16-year-old kid in Giant Stadium, and now I'm 37. That sounds worse.
It's amazing because I remember that in 2004, after we beat the Chargers and we lost to the Steelers with that ridiculous field goal situation.
Yep.
And I remember feeling so brokenhearted. And I thought, how long could this go on for us? And what really scares me is that was 19 years ago.
Yep.
And here we are, and it still hasn't happened. And that just blows my mind. It blows my mind. We, and it's so weird because I can't stress enough. This is not me being a sucker again. People are like, oh, every time the Jets get good, you're sucker. This is the year. No. I cannot be more sincere. In 40 plus years, just over 40 years of being a Jets fan, this honestly is different than any of those other 40 years. I have never felt like this going into a season and looking at not just this season, but the next few years or even decade for this team with Joe Douglas driving it. I really feel like I've never felt before. I really believe that this is it. This is really the time.
Totally agree. Feels different. I don't want to be, I'm a half full guy. I'm a half full guy because negativity just ends your life quicker, especially with this team. I've known way too many guys that died before they got to see the Jets win.
Yeah.
Got to stay on the positive side. But yes, we do have the squad. We do have the right management in place, the right coaching staff in place. The LaFleur thing, the experiment, hey, that's my buddy thing didn't last. Good, fine. If we didn't get Hackett, we wouldn't have Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Hopefully, from my mouth to God's ears, we do something in the next 2 years, and we actually get one. We get to go to that parade.
Yeah, I mean, I might actually fly back to New York for that parade.
Yep.
I'll be sleeping out overnight the night before. I'll be there, front and center. And
Yep.
it's just, and that's the thing. When you win that ring, it puts you, you become part of a conversation.
Yep.
And that conversation, it lasts a lifetime. And to think, who was it? Mike Greenberg said it best on ESPN, who's a diehard Jets fan through and through. The one thing he wanted more than anything itself, then he wanted to just sit on the couch and watch the Jets in the Super Bowl with his father. And now his dad's gone. My dad's 63, and to think now I got little kids, and to go a lifetime of rooting for this team and then they never see it. I mean, I don't want that. I want to be able to say, yeah, I saw them hoist the Lombardi on TV. I saw it happen. It does happen. Dreams come true. You got to stay loyal. You got to put a program into place and see it come to fruition.
Yeah. Edward Ziff says Lawson, JJ, McDonald, Huff, outstanding. I agree. Don't forget about Clemens and JFM.
Yeah.
Don't forget about JFM. Don't forget about Clemens.
There's so many on that line.
Thomas, there's another one.
Solomon Thomas. Perfect.
Yeah.
We have monsters. We have monsters. There's so many of them. The way they rotate the D, everybody's fresh all the time. That's why we load up so much on that defense. That we don't even rush. We don't even rush. I think we had the third least quarterback rushes in the league last year.
That's true. If I'm not mistaken, they blitz probably one of the least amount of times league wide. But when your defense is that stout and strong, you don't need to, because you have to understand when you're blitzing, you're taking one of your defenders back from the deep end, and if you got to get the quarterback, because if you don't, somebody's going to get freed up.
Yep. We crushed without doing that. We didn't blitz, which is awesome. And now we got our freaks just about to get turned loose with monsters up front.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I think the hardest job for, like, in my mind, would be if I'm the defensive line coach and if I'm calling the plays, it's just rotating those guys and getting them, allowing them to eat.
Yep.
And I guess you have to go with a hot hand approach too. Like if you see like, let's say McDonald's is what we're dreaming he'll be.
Oh,
Let's say if he's a complete freak and they cannot block him, I think you have to adjust to that and just let him eat all game long.
yeah. Other guys might have to sit out and be pissed off. Who cares?
Right.
I welcome that sort of shit though, because you know what? That creates healthy competition in the locker room.
Yeah.
You're damn right. And like a guy like Lawson, I think he'd welcome it because he's a vet.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a reason why I wear jerseys on Sundays. I wore Bart Scott's jersey forever. That's a leader. Mosley, leader. I wear his number. So here I am wearing 57s every Sunday because they lead by example. Mosley's a monster. We haven't even talked about that guy. That guy has so much heart and so much passion. And where did he come from? Baltimore, just like Bart, and he learned from Bart. Yeah. Like unbelievable masters. You can never deny that speech. You could never deny Bart's speech when Sal Palantonio was interviewing him.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing I've ever seen out of a Jets interview, ever.
And my favorite Mosley moment was when he went up before last season, and he said, "If all you care about is money, if you think we're a joke, if you whatever, and you're only coming here if we're going to pay you more than everyone else, you're coming to the wrong place."
Yep.
He said, "This is not what we're about."
Yep.
Goes, if you come here, you're coming here to win.
Yep. That's leaders.
Yeah.
That's our leader right there. And now we have our leader on offense. We have Aaron Rodgers. And everybody stops, listens, shuts the hell up when he talks. It's like having another coach. They've all said it. Everybody on that offensive side of the ball. But we're bringing in Super Bowl guys. We're bringing in, what we bring in, 4 Packers that all played for him. I mean,
just
like
more.
Guys,
we bring in Alan Lazard. We bring in a Randall Cobb. We bring in Turner on the line. We got Amos on defense. We bring in the offensive coordinator in Hackett.
5.
You know what I mean? I mean, you got everybody on the same page. And you need guys like that to implement your program when you're going to a new franchise. Rex did it with all his former Ravens. So he brought in
Bart.
Who was it? Bart Scott.
Right off the bat.
Jimmy Leonard, Marcus Douglas. And they immediately had that impact.
And do you know what's amazing about this team is that aside from Rodgers, the other guys are just role players. Like Lazard's a number 2 and number 3 receiver with Corey Davis. That's the second.
Which is crazy.
That's the second best guy. Cobb is a guy who's fighting for WR5, WR6. Right? Amos is just a safety, like for depth. We got a guy injured, so he's going to play, hopefully, like be in like a kind of rotation. But they're role players. They're not like, aside from Rodgers and Lazard, they're not like the big names that are like we're relying on, because the big names we already had. Tucker, Beckham, this new guy Tippmann, Sauce Gardner, Hugh Williams, Reed. These are the stars, right? Garrett Wilson. These are the stars. Breece Hall. We already had the stars. We're bringing in role players that are going to be able to show the other players the system.
And we haven't even talked about our tight ends. Like,
I know,
like Jeremy Ruckert apparently had a good camp, but we're not going to do camp superstars. But the kid did grow up as a Jets fan, and how great would it be to see that big bastard to develop? But the kid we just drafted, that 6, what is he, 6'7"?
6'7". Ryan Kuntz.
6'8".
Oh, Kuntz,
the best athlete in the combine.
Yep.
He's a freak.
Imagine he gets healthy, that's our Gronk. So
And then
to
of course
speak.
you got CJ, you got Uzama, and then you got Conklin. It's just like
Yep.
where do you start? Where do you
Like-
start?
Like massive targets like that could block.
Crazy.
Like, come on, man. Come
And
on.
pre JD, we're actually 2 years ago, before you bring in Conklin and Uzama, we had no tight ends on this roster. None. And the ones that we did have them, they were just for blocking packages. You would never think to throw to a tight end. I think the last time we had an elite tight end on this team was Mickey Schuler. That's how bad our tight ends have been.
We had one. Anthony
Dustin
Beck.
Keller?
He was an announcer for SNY. Anthony Beck. Yeah, he was an announcer on it. Oh, you talking about players?
I was gonna actually say Dustin Keller. I forgot about him, but injuries derailed him.
We had no tight ends. It wasn't even thought of. It literally wasn't even thought of.
Yeah. I know. I mean, the tight end situation is amazing. I mean, I thought they were developing Yeboah. He was good on special teams. I was rooting for him. I don't even see a path for him to be on the team. He'll be on the practice squad, and maybe nobody will poach him. I don't know.
But somebody might. Right. We've had just little things like that. Last year, everybody was scooping up anybody the Jets tossed out on the street. That never happened. Never. When did you hear? And now they're looking to see what are we going to cut, because we're actually cutting potential starters out there.
Yeah, and like what Matt Smith was saying, he wasn't just the best tight end in the combine last year. He was the best tight ends athletically, like scoring wise, in the history of the combine.
Yep.
Like no tight end has ever scored higher. That's sick. That's sick.
And he's a day 3 pick, which is crazy, just because of injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, one injury in his senior year, right? That's when it happened.
Dislocated kneecap.
Yep.
Yeah, look, the offensive lineman that we took, the tackle Warren Carter from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
He's a second-round pick if he doesn't get hurt in his senior year.
Yeah.
Second-round pick. And he's fully healthy now, or we don't need him to be completely healthy, even if it takes him a little more time. They're saying he's completely healthy. He's a second-round pick.
Keep chucking the big fatties up in front. You know what I'm saying? Like, get those guys, get them developed.
Right. And then I'm excited about this running back. I understand we can't rely on him. We can't rely on him because we don't know when you come out of college. But if you watch his highlights and you look at his combine numbers, you look at his speed, you look at his power, this kid out of Colombo, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, kid Israel, he could be special. He could be special. He's like, there are people who had him in, as a top 4 running back in this draft.
Yeah. Never heard of him, just the way I never heard of Breece Hall. I never heard of Breece Hall. But I don't watch college football.
Right, you don't watch college football.
I don't watch college football, so I didn't know who the hell Breece Hall was. And then all of a sudden, this guy's a monster.
Yeah.
And if he comes back and rehabs the way Adrian Peterson rehabbed as an old man, and Breece has that fire, like, honestly, obviously, all of us know that Breece would have been the rookie of the year if he kept on going and never got hurt.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's not just a good running back. He's special. He's special. He's a franchise-changing running back.
Yeah.
You put that with Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God.
Oh, you do that, but this kid Izzy. I mean, imagine him with 30 pounds on him. That's Derrick Henry. This guy's huge.
Yeah.
That's not a small running back. That's a big dude. That's a big dude running the football.
I'm telling you. But when Breece Hall's healthy, when you think about what Garrett Wilson's going to be and Breece Hall, think about the former Super Bowl teams. Think about teams like when Dallas had Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith. Now start thinking Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Aaron freaking Rodgers.
Our version of the triplets.
Our version of the triplets for sure.
Guys.
Monsters.
People are sleeping on this team.
Good. Let them sleep. Let them sleep. Let us be.
Nah, man. Coast to coast people in their fantasy football drafts, they're going to start taking Jets players in the first and second round. Things are going to change.
I really hope so, man. I mean, I'll always stay positive no matter how this season ends up. I'll do that for the rest of my life. I'd much rather be surprised by us getting a Super Bowl than being super confident being let down. Because I've been super positive and gotten let down, but I'll just watch and see what develops. But I'll never bash our team ever. I'll let other people.
Look, I'd rather be optimistic and be wrong. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong. Like, I'd rather be super excited and then have my heart broken than what it's been for the last 12 years, like what it was with Adam Gase. You know, like going into the season deep down knowing we have no shot, like feeling like crap right away. We're 0-4, 1-5, 1-6 out of the gate. We're thinking about the draft. You know, I'd rather we make a run and have our heart broken, because at least we have these moments, at least like right now and every day right now until that moment happens, we get to believe in our team. And that's everything.
Yep.
So I won't trade this for anything. I'm not afraid to be optimistic. I'm not afraid to be excited.
No, I'm excited. Vin, you excited, bro?
I'm out of words, Rocco. I'm out of words. Like I said, it's been a long time since we've had anything to be excited about here. So let's let the season come to us. I want nothing but health. Honestly, take a page out of Sean McVay's book, Coach Saleh. Don't play any of the starters in the preseason.
Nope.
Rodgers knows the system. I don't want to see him take one snap in this preseason.
I'm good with that too, man. I don't want to see him touch the ball in preseason.
I'm all set with that. Let's enjoy the Hall of Fame game. For the older fans, let's enjoy Klecko get his his introduction. Well deserved. One of my father's favorites.
Yep.
And Revis get his intro in. And hopefully they shuck that beef that they just recently had. But and then we're in the Hall of Fame game for the first time since '92, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so here's thoughts. I mean, you've seen all the speculation about Hard Knocks. Do you think that's going to happen?
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
Because the other three teams that are eligible to do it, no one gives a shit about. Excuse me. The Commanders, the Bears. I can't think of the other one. The Jets have all the best storylines. And I know the Jets have openly said they don't want to do it, which is fine and well. I like to side with the team. But if they do it, I'm probably going to order it again. I'm fine with it. I don't consider it a distraction. The last time we were on Hard Knocks, we went all the way to the AFC title game. You want to bring Hard Knocks in? Bring it.
I agree. And listen, it occupies our time leading up to the season, and it'll be absolutely amazing, because I've played my girlfriend Kimmy clips of Rex talk, his speeches, and some of the other stuff, and obviously as a Jets fan, it's super entertaining. They go into Hard Knocks, and if they can't get it done with cameras there, they already have cameras on them 24/7, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Yeah. The only thing that's weird to me is this is, I think, the latest they've ever waited. Like, we've never waited this long to know who the team was on Hard Knocks. So it's kind of strange. I don't know if Woody's fighting it or whatever. There's no doubt that if you're the producers for HBO, or Max, as they call themselves now, there's no question that out of the 4 teams eligible, you're picking the Jets. I mean, there's just no question about it. Aaron Rodgers alone makes it the number one selling, makes us the team that they would want.
Who are the teams again?
Us, the Commanders, the Bears. I think it might be this. I know the rules work. You can't be a playoff team from the year before, and you can't have a first-time head coach.
Yeah, so it's the Saints, Bears, Commanders, and Jets.
And the thing is too, the NFL could put a gun to your head and say, well, you have to do it because you can't refuse.
Really? That's how it works?
Yep. They could force you to do it.
They definitely could force you to do it. It's to me as a fan, we don't need it as much as we used to, like back in the Rex years. But with the quality of our production, of the Jets production team, and the shows that they've been putting out on
One Jets Drive is amazing.
Oh, I love that.
Amazing content. But I'm not upset if we get Hard Knocks. Like, I don't need it, but I'm not upset. Like some people say, we don't want this. I'm not worried. It's not going to cause a distraction. It's not going to hurt us.
No.
And it's like, of course I'm going to watch it. I have no choice, because people are going to ask about it and expect me to know what the hell's going on. But like, it's not it's nothing negative about it. It's just that we just don't need it because we have great quality Jets content coming from the Jets already.
The only thing I worry about with Hard Knocks is not our veteran players, is our younger players that are just now getting their first taste of fame. Now, hopefully our veterans on the team can temper them. You know what I'm saying? Bring them down a little bit. Listen, this is how you need to act. But there's always those like guys that were the jam in college, and I'm this and I'm that. And now that they got cameras in front of them, but I think honestly that the way that JD's drafted and Salah's drafted, that they went for personality players that are grounded. You know, when we drafted Jermaine Johnson, you know, and he had, what was it, like a purple suit and gold chains on, that wasn't him. Like, if you listen to how articulate he was very tempered. He didn't sound like a guy that was like one of these Florida dudes that was like, yeah, man, F this and F that. You know, like some of the guys we grew up watching, like Dion and Keyshawn, and talked a lot of smack coming out of college. He might have looked like that. Like, the Jets are trying to change culture, but I worry about, like, okay, now the camera's on him. Oh, I'm on HBO. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Ruggs. What Ruggs do? He wrecked a vet and killed people, right? Like,
yeah,
like stuff like that. I worry about that stuff, that off-season stuff that happens. Like, that whole culture of, look at me. Remember Plexico shooting himself in the leg in a nightclub because his gun fell down his pants leg, and then he became a Jet. Like, after being suspended for what, a year? Like,
yeah,
stuff like that. Like, being on camera and thinking who you are changes people. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know what their story was before. You know, people react differently when they get a taste of fame. And hopefully they have the right makeup within the team to sort of guide these youngsters. Because at the end of the day, these are young dudes. I know the way that I felt growing up when I had a little taste. You know, when I played hockey and was doing well, I felt my oats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, hopefully those cameras don't change some of our youth for the wrong reasons. That's the only thing that Hard Knocks, like, sort of, in my mind, sort of screws with me with our youngsters.
But here's the reason why, and I do think that could be a threat. The thing that makes me feel confident is a guy like Aaron Rodgers is not going to allow it.
Mm.
We already have a second-year player as a rookie who's already shown the maturity in Sauce Gardner, who's not going to allow it. He's already stepped up as such a leader, Sauce. He's there every time shit's going down. He's there. When the Elijah shit went down, he was there. Every time something's going down, he's right there in their face, right? And then, of course, you got Q Williams, who really stepped up last year as a leader. You got, and you got CJ Mosley and Carl Lawson. I mean, these are leaders, right? So, and then on the offensive side, you got Aaron Rodgers, not to mention, a guy like Lazard now who's earned his stripes, worked his way up from, undrafted to the guy he is today. But you have Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, that's all you need. You have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Keep them in check. But also you have the coaching staff and what they have proven to the roster right now. The Elijah Moore trade wasn't simply just, we need the second round pick. It sucks that we have to give him up. They went out and they got rid of him. And they got rid of him for a reason. And there's a message to the rest of the team. That, they might not have done it in the middle of the season, but in this offseason, they addressed it. And they said, we're tired of your tweets. We're tired of the crying. And that's why a lot of people believe, don't be surprised if Michael Carter gets traded or goes, because he's been chirping a little bit. And if
the running back,
right, Michael Carter, the running back, and if he does that, if he starts bitching because if they sign Dalvin Cook, whatever it is, the Jets are showing we're not playing games here. We're not afraid to let you go.
If you noticed when that shit went down, Denzel Mims shut up.
Yeah. He shut up.
Because
Yeah.
where was he going to go?
Yeah. We're not playing games. Barrios got all crazy. I knew it the second I saw his hair.
Oh,
The second I saw his hair last year, I said, there he goes. You got there by working your tail off.
yep.
You got there by playing with all your heart. The second you started to believe you're good and get all crazy with the bleached hair look how fast now he's bobbling the ball and he can't do it. He lost his focus.
See ya.
See ya.
How about the T-shirt? Zach Wilson is good. Braxton Berrios is good. Oh my God!
No.
You don't need to draw attention to yourself, gentlemen. You don't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Just play the game.
Be professional.
The true great ones, they don't need anyone to tell them they're great, or they don't need to flat out say it. People know. How many times has Tom Brady come out and say, "I'm the best quarterback ever"?
He didn't need to.
He didn't need to. So that's why I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I believe in the coaching and and JD and the players and the experienced leadership we have now, that if one of these young kids gets it in their head and starts acting up, they're going to have the door slammed in their face. And guess what? We're not reliant on any player. If any player gets a big head, we're so deep in every position.
We are really deep.
Yeah. If you're a running back on this team and you open up your mouth, it's like you're in the doghouse. You're not
even if you're a receiver. Like Denzel Mims is waiting. Like he's like, I'm good now. You don't understand. I'm a big target. Go ahead and talk smack.
And the best part is you ship these guys out that run their mouth. You're just doing our general manager a favor, just giving him more ammunition to find more marquee talent in next year's draft, because he's going to find them. He's that damn good.
All the time. All the time. It's insane.
And you know what's great? Look at our top three receivers, Garrett Wilson, Lazard, and Corey Davis in either order. When you look at the top three guys, are any of them divas? Are any of them the type of guys that are going to cause trouble in that locker room?
Nope.
Not one of those three guys.
Nope.
No way, no how.
Nope.
There will be no drama with those three guys.
Nope. And not Hardman. Hardman, who's played for how many teams? 5?
Right.
6?
But the key thing is Kansas City. So he learned what it looks like, what a winning locker room looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, in Andy Reid's locker room, nobody opens up their mouth against their team.
Yep. That's like Belichick light.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and that's why they're winning, and that's why they get rid of players who open up their mouth. They don't tolerate it. And that's what, I got to grow up, growing up in New York. And I don't know if you remember in the 80s, you probably do, Rocco. That was Parcells.
Yep.
Parcells, even before he was a Jets coach, when he was a Giants coach, the year they won the Super Bowl, they cut their number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
I think it was Johnson or I forgot, like it wasn't Lionel Manuel, but like they cut their number 2 receiver like after the 9th game of the season because he opened up his mouth.
Too much. Parcells didn't stand for that at all. And he didn't like anybody dropping a punt return.
No, he didn't like that.
And then Belichick, says, I'm not going to be the Jets coach on a napkin.
Unbelievable. It might be. That's why we have to win a Super Bowl. At one point, I have to be able to look at him and say, "We got it, you fucker."
I'm telling you, man. Right?
We all deserve that day to just stick it to him.
Just
be like, it's over. Now you can have your 6. I need 1. I don't need a dynasty. 1.
One.
Well,
then we can die, right? Right, Ben. Right, Jeremy. We could die. After the one.
That's all I need to say on my plot. Happy.
All I know is 100,000 Jet fans. When we win the Super Bowl, I want 100,000 Jet fans to send a fax to the New England Patriots, titled and subjected to Bill Belichick, that says, "We won the Super Bowl."
Here's my asshole.
I want to do it by fax. Do it by fax.
No, better. We could send it to him on a napkin.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. Just dip your ass on a napkin.
Yeah. Everyone should mail napkins to the New England Patriots.
That would be perfect. That'd be so good. My God, man. I'm excited, man. This is probably the most excited I've been.
This was awesome tonight, guys. Absolutely awesome.
Absolutely. Rocco, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, guys. I'd love to do it more.
We'll definitely have you back. If not this show, I'll get you back on the Wednesday night show at some point in the future. Always looking for guests there too. Always looking for more people to talk Jets with. So we'll definitely get you back on the channel, get you back on the lounge.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Rocco, I just want to say again, thank you again for coming on such short notice. Long overdue to actually meet face to face.
Yeah,
but
bro.
If you want to share your information where people could find you, reach out to you, or even the fans in your area, here's your opportunity.
Sure. Austin Jets fans on Facebook, Austin Jets fans on Instagram, Rocco Rosenstein on Facebook as well. Hit me up. As long as you're not some Patriots troll or whatever, I'll approve you. That's fine. San Diego Jets fans, if you're ever in San Diego, I still get to approve members on that site. But yeah, I mean, I'm an open book. You can get a hold of me anytime. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep. All right. And Vinny C, you got anything else going on, or are we just we're going to be back next week, right? I know you want to talk about that.
We got a couple things in the works, so everybody stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe to the Jet Lounge. We're going to tweet out this show. Please retweet the show. Give us a follow. It helps with the algorithm of the channel, and we're going to try to bring on more guests like Rocco, heads of other Jets fan clubs. I want to try to reach out to more players, coaches, retired players, the whole 9 yards.
Love it, love it, love it. Guys, I wasn't here on Wednesday last week. I was in North Carolina, so I couldn't come on. We will be back on Wednesday night. Hopefully, we'll get an appearance from Nick. He is struggling right now, It's got some health issues. A lot of people know that. He's been in the hospital. He's going to try to call in and say hello, give everybody an update on his status. But I will be back Wednesday night to talk Jets. I'll see everybody then. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everybody that's watching. Thank you for everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's not chatting, and everybody that's going to watch the show after the fact. I appreciate you as always. And go Jets. And I will leave you with this.
We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, who in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by 1 million today.
Yeah.